on the Precious campaign that everyone knows about that hurt her, and I told her that. So and I.
Yeah.
Que sera.
Can she change that?
I mean, if she plays ball, you got to play ball. This is not just show. It's show business, and you've got to play ball. And you can't scream. I don't like calling the race card. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it because if I buy into it, then it becomes real. Mm-hmm. If I knew what I knew when I was 21, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
But some people call that selling out.
Selling out?
Yeah,
I guess I'm a sellout then. Call it what it is. But I'm not going to not work, and I'm not going to not tell my truth, and I'm not going to call people out on their bull. So whatever that means, sell out. Okay. I'll see you in the theaters.
Wow. Where does that come from? That sort of, I guess what it says, you are being completely emancipated. You live your own truth.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome to Man Mindset News from a man's perspective. I am your host, Steve Williams, and I hope everything is going well with everybody who is taking the time out of their busy schedule to listen to me try to give you my take on things from a man's point of view. Well, this is going to kind of be, this might be a long video, so please bear with me because there's so much stuff that I want to talk about because there's so many different angles that's going on with this situation with Lee Daniels and Monique and the conversation he had, I guess, with Lemon. I don't know that guy's name. I don't watch CNN, but he had a conversation and he spoke about some things. And I wrote some of them down, but, about being a sellout, race card, Hollywood. We're going to talk about all those things and and not only how it affects us as black people, but it affects everybody who's listening because, my listeners are not just black, but I want to talk to those who want to grow and want to unplug themselves from this matrix. That's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to change everybody's mindset. I'm asking you to just bear with me on this one because this is going to be kind of long today. What happened here is really, really interesting as I'm watching all this stuff unfold, but there's so many things on the back end that I need to talk to those who are listening. Number one, this whole thing, what we have to stop doing, everybody, we can't look at something that is happening in Hollywood or something that is happening somewhere across the world or across your city or your state and make it all about you. Whatever's going on with Monique has nothing to do with you, and the fact that a lot of people are coming down on Lee Daniels. Now, again, I'm all about straight pride, so I don't agree with what he's doing as far as his relationships are, but that is none of my business. But that's what this is not about. This is about the people blasting people that sit there and say that, I'm not about blacks or I'm not about this race baiting mindset. Always remember, everybody, your mindset controls your behaviors. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. And yes, well, let me take that back. Yes, it has something to do. And in some parts, yes, you know what? Let's put the memo out. Yes, there are racist people out there. There are racist police officers out there. There are a lot of bad things out there. We all know that. We all experience that. But to make things about you that you see that's happening across, that's happening, I don't know wherever this stuff is going on, is crazy and ludicrous. You've got to look beyond that. And that's what this show is going to be about. See, the one thing that a lot of you guys have, okay, and this is what I want to talk about, because he talked about race card and he talked about selling out. They kind of had a little laugh amongst themselves about being called a sellout for some of the things that they say. Now, again, everybody has a right to their opinion. Everybody has a right to choose God or not to choose God, to be a Republican or a Democrat, to watch rated R movies or PG movies. That is the right that we have as people. But we should not sit there and judge somebody based off of what they choose to do. Remember, there are two things that you can do, or you are here to do. The power that each and every one of you have. You have a power to think, and you have a power of choice. Those are the two greatest powers that each and every one of you have. The power to think, the power to make choices. And it's what you do in those two things that is going to affect the behavior that is coming out in you. Now, I understand for a lot of you, you get pulled over by the police, you get harassed. There's a lot of racist things going on and things like that. Well, hopefully, we're going to talk about some other things that that should give you some guidance down another pathway. Because look, I'm not trying to change who you are. I'm just trying to get you to think, so the choices that you make will then change your behavior, thus changing a new type of system. But I wanted to go back real quick and talk about what's the game of Hollywood, like Lee Daniels said. You see, the game of Hollywood, like I said, I've never been in Hollywood before. The most thing I've ever done was be on a reality TV show for playing video games. That's all. I've never been in Hollywood, so I cannot speak for Hollywood. But I know from my friends who are in Hollywood and know directors and how the game is played, there is a game played in Hollywood. And that game is you cannot be demanding. Now, don't get me wrong. You have stars out there that are very demanding. But one thing that you have to understand is everything is not equal. I know you want equality, but let's be honest. Everything is not equal. There's just how it is. That's how the makeup is. So you can have a Tom Cruise. Hey, you can even have a Denzel Washington who can be demanding. But if you're just coming up in the game, you cannot make the same demands as a Denzel Washington, a Tom Cruise, or somebody out there who's been doing this for a long time. You can't make the demands of an Oprah Winfrey or what's that guy's name? Tyler Perry. Or even the lead. You can't make those demands until you get to a certain echelon. And the problem is that a lot of people get a little bit of success and they feel like they are still on they're on the level of greater stars, and they feel like they can go off and start asking and making crazy ass demands. But that's here nor there, and that's not what I really want to discuss with you, because I want to discuss something that's more important that connects this, because there is something called the game of life. I've always told every one of you, regardless of your race, regardless of your color, life doesn't give a fuck about none of us. Bottom line, life is just going to sit back and do whatever he can to you, and especially to the victims. When you have a victim mentality, especially when it's all about your self-importance, what begins to happen is everything that happens to somebody, you want to make it about you. Then it'll make you mad. And then there's just a domino effect of things that don't happen. The thing that I can respect about Lee Daniels and what he was saying was really, really deep, because it doesn't matter what color you are, you create your own pathway. And even as I said before to a lot of you black individuals, is that you have to understand something. The individuals that got chewed up by the dogs, the hoses, the beatings, the lynchings, they didn't have as many opportunities as you have today. And a lot of you are not taking advantage of those opportunities. I'm not saying that all of you, because I'm not generalizing, but there are some out there that are trying to take those advantages. But a lot of you are not taking those advantages, and you're expecting everything to fall right on your lap. And that's not how life works, everybody. The game of life is basically played by the component, the system, the subsystem. And you are a subsystem of a bigger system of life. And even in that subsystems, it's broken down into even more subsystems of how you think and the choices that you make. Let me give you a for instance. I had a great talk with Scott, and Scott of the Advise Show TV. Great conversation with him the other day, or a week ago. And we were talking about the Michael Jordan situation, the shoes and all that other stuff. You can't get mad at Michael Jordan for just putting his name on some shoes. It's business. And once you get in the business mindset, you will understand at the end of the day, it is just business. That's what it is. But when you're on the outside looking in, you're going to feel some kind of way because you think, well, it's not fair what he's doing or what's happening with blacks and all the crime and the fighting and the lines for Jordan. But this is where I always talk about thinking and making better choices. The thinking aspect is thinking that, wait a second, am I going to invest $200 of my money and not get a return on my investment? No. What I want you to begin to do is I want you to think about, instead of taking that $200 and investing it in the shoes, why don't you take that $200 and, like Scott was saying, why don't you take that $200 and invest it into Nike? Then that way you can get a return on your investment. You can flip your investment. Then you can take what you have, the extra money that you have, then you can buy your shoes, because that way you stay in what I call the green. But a lot of you are always in the red with your mindset, what you're thinking, the things that you think, and the choices that you make every day is either going to push you in a direction of growth and wealth, or is it going to keep you back, muddled with everybody else? The reason I'm having the Man Mindset News is because I want you to be able to separate yourself from the sheep out there. I want you to be able to think outside of the box of a color of skin. I want you to have a mindset that is different from everybody else, because when you see the world in a different way, all the rules change. Everything changes, because then you get more clarity and more understanding of what's going on. Let me give you an example. How many of you right now that are pretty angry right now, probably calling me a sellout, probably saying I ain't shit? Well, I ain't a sellout, but I surely ain't shit. I can agree on that one. But what I'm saying to you is this. How many of you right now that's not going to like this, or going to get mad, or going to hate what I'm saying to you? How many of you take the time on Friday nights to sit there and watch Shark Tank for a week? For the whole hour, just to understand how branding, how to build your company, questions that you're going to be asked, things that you're going to need to know to grow a business. How many of you are taking your time to do that? Now, don't get me wrong. If I ask you the same question about how many of you watching Being Mary Jane, how many of you watching Love and Hip Hop, how many of you are watching the Housewives of Atlanta, I'm sure you can say you're probably doing that. But then you want to get mad and angry at people that are following a pathway to growth. It's a different mindset. When you get out of that cycle, and I hope you will get out of that cycle. Once you get out of that cycle, you are going to see things totally different. And the thing about being totally different and seeing things different is that being called a sellout is not necessarily a bad thing when you're on a different level, because the word sellout is not going to hurt you at all, because your mindset is thinking about growth, expansion, and building wealth, and building and creating something that you can call your own. And that's the mindset I want a lot of you to get. Like, for instance, the reason I'm wearing this is my right here, what you see, the shirt and the hat. Like I said, I do play video games as well. I'm a gamer. Hell, I'm just being honest with you. But I've created my own fashion line of shirts and hats to sell a brand that I'm creating. And I have several brands I'm creating. I'm always creating new things. But the reason I'm saying that to you is you have the opportunity right now, every one of you that are listening to me right now, you have the opportunity to sit down, draw up, or create your own fashion line, create your own brand, and then be able to go on the internet and be able to market it and sell it. without sitting around here worrying about who's selling out, what's happening on Love and Hip Hop, what's going on with being Mary Jane. You have to be able to change the mindset, and that will then be change the behavior. I'm not saying there's not racism out there. I'm not saying they're not evil cops. You know, but see, that all falls under the system of life. Life does not give a fuck about any of us, everybody. That's what I'm trying to say. But the main question I'm asking you, are you too busy on Facebook? Are you too busy on the internet? Are you too busy watching TV? Or are you waiting for Friday to come? You can go to ABC Online and watch all the Shark Tank shows. Because what the information you're getting from billionaires. You're getting information on how to create and how to start a business, and you're learning a language of success. And the only way you're going to understand that language is to begin to entrench yourself in that language. You have to understand that this whole show is not about the victim mentality. It is not about saying that people are sellouts. It is not about calling people Uncle Tom. And please, everybody, stop using Uncle Tom's. Use Sambo. Tom was a good person. It shows your ignorance when you use the word Uncle Tom. But I'm not here to piss you off. I'm here to give you a little bit of clarity on growing your business, creating a business, having a mindset of growth and not stuck with everybody else that is sitting and pointing the finger. Look, we know there's racism. We know there's bad cops. But the question I'm asking you, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit there and wallow like a victim and point the finger at everybody? Kind of like what's going on with this Monique thing. She has failed herself because it seems like, and this is just my opinion, that she thinks she is on the level of like a Denzel Washington, a Tom Cruise, I can't think of any, Brad Pitt or whatever, any of the big name stars out there. She thinks she's on that level where she can make crazy demands. And you cannot do that when you are first getting your foot in the door. And it is no different from life or getting a job. It's no different from starting a business. There are going to be obstacles. There are going to be hangups. There are going to be people to knock you down. But the question I ask you is, what part of you is going to get up and say, okay, if that door closes, why don't I come to another door? Because all I have been seeing are a lot of black individuals with these YouTubes and watching this, and then all they're doing is stirring up the pot more just to piss you off. I want you to be able to break out of that mindset, and I want you to be able to think about creating growth, creating your own empire by single thought processes and the choices that you make. And what I mean by choice, you can have the choice of either watching Love or Hip Hop, or on Friday nights watch Shark Tank. It doesn't make you less of a man or a woman to watch something that is showing you free advice on how to build and grow a company. That's the whole thing. And that's why I'm wearing this right here, because I am always constantly trying to grow companies myself. Some succeed, some fail. But the thing is, I'm doing it. Remember, Yoda said there is no try, do or do not. Remember, I'm a nerd on that shit. But what I'm saying to you guys, when it comes to the race card, we have to realize, stop making everything about color and make it more about the mindset. Because not every black person is good, just like not every white person is bad. But you can't generalize and lump everybody in based off of anger and victimhood. So I just want to talk about that. I'm sorry I took so long, but the main purpose is, guys, start creating. Like I say, where is it? I'm a pet. I love playing video games. I thought of a logo. I thought of pushing it, and that's what I'm doing. But I'm asking you, what are you doing today that is going to make you grow better tomorrow? What are you writing down? How much time are you taking from watching TV and doing all this stuff to grow and create a brand? Because if you're not growing and creating, you are going to fall with the rest of the sheep, and everything's going to be about victimhood. I don't want to see you doing that. Not as black people, but people in general. But those that really want it on the inside, who have the heart, the determination to realize, you know what? I go to bed around 2:30, got to get up at 6. I always have this great saying, those that are sleeping are not making money. So you can sleep here and there, but you need to start framing your mind and getting yourself in the mindset of growth and creating your business. So when you have conversations like this, instead of getting mad at, what's his name? I don't even know the motherfucker's name. What's the name? Lee Daniels. Instead of getting mad at Lee Daniels for talking about the sellout thing, you'll have more clarity and understanding of, wait a second, it doesn't matter. Look, you like me or hate me, either you're going to watch the movie or you're not. That's just the bottom line. But it's not going to make me lose sleep over what you feel. Each and every one of you can feel what you feel. That is your right. But I also, like Lee and everybody else who thinks outside the box, I have a right to not listen. And I have a right to, even if I do listen and I hear a negative thing, look, the choice is mine to whether to believe it and let it fester inside of me and bring me down, or just laugh it off. Look, we've always said it, and Cat Williams said it the best. You need haters. I would rather have more people hating what I'm saying than liking it, because that's showing me that I'm doing something right. But anyway, that's going to be the end of Man Mindset. I'm sorry for going so long, but I wanted to cover that and cover that. Please, guys, look up Shark Tank. It comes on every Friday night, I think around 8 o'clock. But it's something that if you're ready to create a business, you're ready to expand and grow something, do something. Come up with lines, come up with ideas, come up with something that you can have that is your own, that you can put a brand behind it and sell it. Anyway, I'm Steve Williams, and that is Man Mindset News. I will talk to you later. Thank you.